In today's news, Sergeant Troy St. Helen of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force charged in connection with January's $200 million cocaine drug bust.
We also see BVI residents who are set to travel to the USVI can now do so free to access the Pfizer and Johnson Johnson vaccines. Quarantine protocols are also exempted.
McMaster wins heat and advances to the semi-finals of the men's 400-meter hurdles event at the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan.
Compensation now available for persons who suffer from adverse effects of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and of course that's right here in the British Virgin Islands by way of the United Kingdom. And we also see Lucian Politician Jeremiah Norbert. He's joining us live to discuss his win, of course, in the recent general elections, and of course overcoming a tragic accident to serve the people. We have all the details on today's edition of 284 News.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
A pleasant welcome, everyone. It is Friday, July 30th, 2021. We are coming to you live out of 284 News from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes, and thank you guys for joining us. Let me start with some concerning news coming out of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, where the police force would have formally charged one of their fellow officers, Sergeant Troy St. Helen, for his alleged involvement in January's major cocaine drug bust of approximately 200 kilos. But the RVIPF made the announcement on Friday, July 30th, stating that St. Helen, who was suspended from his duties, was charged on Thursday, July 29th. But the Jennings Hill resident is charged for possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply and being concerned in the supply of a controlled drug. Well, according to the RVIPF, the 39-year-old senior officer had been interdicted from his duty earlier this year following his suspected involvement in the January drug seizure. He will be the third male charged in that operation, which resulted in the seizure of over 200 kilos of cocaine. Well, the other two persons charged in relation to that bust include 28-year-old Sean Massicott of East End and Harrigan Estate resident Devon Bedford. Well, during an operation on January 19th of this year in the Brandywine Bay area, officers of the RVIPF intercepted a rental vehicle. A search of that vehicle uncovered a large quantity of cocaine. A subsequent search of a second vehicle uncovered a smaller quantity of cocaine, and the boat was seized as part of that operation. Now, Javon, very concerning news, obviously, with the recent COI, where information was relayed back to the Commissioner of Concerns with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force in terms of, obviously, locals not being able to trust officers, and now we hear this very concerning news. And obviously during that COI session as well, where the new Commissioner of Police would have said that there were 9 officers who were basically presently interdicted and basically undergoing investigations. And following that announcement, now we see for the first time one officer now charged in a very major crime here in the territory. Obviously, is alleged, until he's, you're proven guilty, but it's very concerning considering the news.
Absolutely, and for quite a number of years we've been hearing about the internal corruption. I think for the very first time what we're seeing is the current police commissioner, I think just a few days upon taking up office, willing to speak so openly and candidly on the fact that there is corruption internally within the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, and the need to really stamp it out. Because, Kamal, as we examine the relationship between the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force and the community, we have to admit that it's very fragile. And like you said, there is a trust factor there. Persons in the community just simply do not trust some members of the force. So we're trusting that Mr. Mark Collins, the police commissioner, of course, can continue to hold persons, even within the force, accountable. Because oftentimes we hear in the Virgin Islands, we're policing ourselves, but who's policing the police? And I think in this case, we definitely have to ensure that we're doing the right thing.
Indeed.
Viewers, as we move on, persons who suffer from adverse effects as a result of taking the AstraZeneca vaccine can claim compensation in the BVI, according to the United Kingdom's healthcare ambassador to the overseas territories, Professor Ian Cumming, who made the revelation during an exclusive interview with us here at 284 Media earlier this week. Now, the indemnity means that health practitioners who were found liable to pay compensation for any serious adverse offense suffered by people receiving COVID-19 vaccines will now have that compensation paid for them by the United Kingdom. Listen in on the conversation that we had earlier this week. Now, I know the BVI, of course, by way of the UK, has been very fortunate to inherit the AstraZeneca vaccine for any resident who's willing to take it. But as we push forward with the objective to get persons inoculated, they are persons, Mr. Cummins, who are duly worried about these very rare but adverse effects that we mentioned earlier. Is there compensation available for any person who may suffer in a significant way as a result of taking this vaccine?
Well, one of the things that the UK government did when it supplied the vaccine to all the overseas territories was to effectively put an indemnity in place that basically says if anything happens to people as a result of negligence or as a result of a fault in the vaccine, then a level of indemnity, a level of cover would actually be provided. And that's something that the UK government has provided across all the overseas territories. And in part, that was done because it would have been with a brand new vaccine, it would have been difficult, time-consuming and expensive for each territory to actually try and take out their own insurance cover to cover for it. So yes, that is in place. But I must stress, many people have minor side effects. So my arm was very sore for about 24, 36 hours after I had the vaccine, the first dose in particular. After that, I was absolutely fine. Some people feel a bit rough for a couple of days. After that, they're absolutely fine. The number of people that have more serious side effects is really, really, really small. And if we take out people where we know that they may be at higher risk, so if people have had a history of blood clotting problems, a particular type of blood clotting problems, we won't give them the vaccine because we know they're at higher risk. So if you take those people out of the equation, the number of people that are left who may have serious side effects is absolutely tiny.
Now, Kamal, and of course, viewers, we do know that the BVI was lucky enough to inherit the AstraZeneca brand. And some persons have definitely, without hesitation, taken the vaccine. Of course, there are other persons who needed some form of encouragement. I think in recent times, due to the surge and, of course, the unfortunate deaths and, of course, the hospital being overwhelmed at this time, I think it really inspired persons to come forward more. We've seen over 2,500 vaccinations within, I guess, the last week. But nevertheless, there are still some persons who are duly concerned about the adverse effects. And, businesses, what we've seen recently is a precedent being set where businesses are essentially forcibly encouraging their employees to take the vaccine. But does the labor laws protect employees if they are to suffer from adverse effects? That's a question that remains unanswered. And I think that's why it was so important for us to ask this very question to Mr. Cummins as the healthcare representative, because persons want to know, in the event that I get sick, in the event that myself, a family member, a friend dies from this vaccine, which we've seen in very, very, very rare cases, what will be the next course of action? And here we do see the ambassador from the United Kingdom saying, yes, the United Kingdom will cover some of what the result is. We'll cover some of the effects of taking the vaccine if they're adverse, of course.
Indeed, and that's obviously good news for some persons who would have been a little wary as it pertains to, what if I go and get the vaccine, then what? To hear this news coming from that official basically means it's somewhat comforting, considering that there is an alternative route. But nonetheless, you would obviously prefer to have the vaccine and have no adverse reactions altogether. Obviously we always want to be in the best of health, as opposed to being ill and then having to then seek treatment to get back to that level.
Absolutely.
But viewers, still ahead, McMaster wins heat and advances to the semi-finals of the men's 400-meter hurdles event at the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan. All this and so much more after a word from our sponsors.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Viewers, welcome back. Olympian Kyron McMaster is through to the semifinals of the men's 400-meter hurdles event after winning his heat at the Tokyo Olympic Games late Thursday. Running out of lane number 2 in heat 4 of the first round, McMaster eased to victory with a time of 48.79 seconds. He defeated second place Yasmani Copello of Turkey and Sean Rowe of Jamaica, who finished with a time of 49.00 seconds and 49.18 seconds respectively. Well, speaking after the race, McMaster admitted to having a few nerves prior to the race, but said he did not let those nerves affect his strategy. He said he executed his plan better than originally anticipated. Take a listen.
Previously, before today's, I had absolutely no nerves. Was excited to run, ready to run. This morning, when I woke up, barely eat half of my breakfast. Automatically, I knew that was nerve, but I mean, I've been here before, not at the Olympics, but been running rounds already. So I just let my talent and my execution rather than let emotion control the race. The plan was just to make it in the top 4. No matter how the plays, just get to top 4 with less energy. I think it was a beautiful race. Felt really good, better than I anticipated after finishing the race. Love how the legs feeling. Just need to work on a few stuff with my physio. Not quite confident with how my quad is feeling at the moment, but yeah, we have a day to recover, and then we have the next day, and then a next day to recover, then the finals. So I'm pretty confident we could get stuff under control by then. Basically, cool down, get the muscles flush out, get them ready, refocus, go through the race model again, just run that through my head a couple times, go confident, and no pressure, just work on my execution. That's it. At this moment, that's all I could work on.
McMaster said he will be giving it his all in the semifinals on Sunday, August 1st, as he aims to reach the finals of that event.
I always feel I'm podium ready. Is once I just pull it together, executional wise, that's gonna be the determination. Like I said, I'm not gonna let the emotion control me in terms of how the body feeling on the day, where the mind's at the day. I'm just gonna work on execution. Emotion is something temporary. You can't control the emotions. You can control how you execute your race. Well, I'm going to push the body to see. Like I said, execution, but I really am going to push the body once I get to the finals. Godspeed, life, health, and strength. Push the body harder than usual. My philosophy is the difference between me and I think a lot. I'm ready to blow and every all of my muscles them in a race. So that's the beauty about it.
Meanwhile, McMaster's coach Lennox Graham said he was pleased with Kyron's performance, adding that focus will now be placed on the semi-finals with hopes of securing a top 2 finish to advance to the finals. Take a listen.
The 400-meter hurdle heats went well. I think Kyron ran a very controlled race. It's a very competitive event at this point, and we're just happy to get the position where we got first, so we know we would have a good seed going into the next round. I think the next round he's in, I think it's semi-final 3, and the top 2 will progress to the final. So right now we're just focused on this morning being in the top 4, and we did that, and next round will be focused on being in the top 2 to get to the finals. It's just stage by stage, round by round. Between rounds he'll just do therapy and rest, hydration, and nutrition, the main ingredients now that we're going to be focused on, and of course his mental state for the next round. not overthinking it, not getting too far ahead of himself, just trying to focus on executing a race that will get us into the top 2 to the final.
Our viewers, McMaster will be running out of lane number 6 in Heat 3 of that men's 400-meter hurdle semi-final, which is scheduled for Sunday, August 1st at around 8:25 a.m. local time. Well, Jovan, I personally was up late last night, obviously watching that race, you know, a little bit anxious, but at the same time excited. And
Yes.
in terms of how he ran the race, he looked very comfortable.
He was cruising.
Yeah, and he plays. I mean, as you said in his interview, he was, you know, he executed his plan, even though he had a little nickel in terms of his foot. But a couple of days rest, and he'll be back to 100% and ready for the semifinals.
And we are rooting him on. I think everybody was up last night. Just today, lots of persons coming in and requesting CCT live because persons want to ensure that, you know, they have access to watch Karen McMaster and, of course, the rest of the Olympics team in action. Team BVI repping that flag high in Tokyo. I know the Minister of Culture, he's actually joining the team this weekend as well. So definitely a healthy delegation in Tokyo. We're looking forward to all of it.
Indeed.
Viewers, as we move on, residents of the Virgin Islands who now wish to receive the Pfizer or Johnson Johnson vaccines can now do so with the introduction of the BVI USA Vaccination Bubble Initiative, which will see eligible persons traveling at no cost for the shots. The BVI USVI Vaccination Bubble Initiative was designed to enhance the current COVID-19 response and mitigation efforts of the Ministry of Health and Social Development by providing further options and adjusting entry protocols which would support persons wishing to participate. Interested residents will now be required to travel to St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands to be vaccinated as part of this initiative, as due to logistical and regulatory requirements, the named vaccines cannot be brought into the territory. Minister for Health and Social Development, Honorable Carvin Malone said, and I quote, "We have collaborated with the government of the USVI to reduce some of the challenges that are preventing persons from vaccinating against this deadly disease. Some persons did not want the AstraZeneca vaccine, and other persons who were not able to be vaccinated for other medical or logistical reasons can now protect themselves with access to the Pfizer and the Johnson Johnson vaccines through this initiative." End of quote. Now, viewers, prospective applicants should note the following. In the first instance, 12 to 17-year-olds will be given first priority. Individuals under the age of 18 must have a parent or a legal guardian accompany them. If a parent or legal guardian is not traveling with the child, a notarized letter by the parent allowing the person to accompany the child must be presented. An official birth certificate must be presented as well at the time of vaccination to the USVI Department for Health for each child. Also, you must have a valid passport and ordinarily meet the immigration requirements to enter the U.S. Virgin Islands. You must also be able to fund all costs associated with getting the vaccine, including transportation and logistical costs. Interested persons can register by contacting 852-7525 Monday to Friday between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Honorable Malone said that Cabinet has made several adjustments to facilitate the process and lower the costs for persons who wish to participate. These decisions now include persons going to and from the USVI specifically to receive vaccinations or to accompany minors for that purpose under the agreed protocols with the USVI authorities would be exempted from the applicable quarantine requirement for the partially vaccinated persons. Persons going to and from the USVI specifically to receive vaccinations or to accompany minors for that purpose under the agreed protocols with the USVI authorities would be exempt from the requirements to register on the entry portal, and also from payment of the associated fees. Persons going to and from the USVI specifically to receive vaccination or to accompany minors for that purpose under the agreed protocols with the USVI authorities would be exempt from the payment of the relative fees on exit of the territory. Now, viewers, the community is encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity to be vaccinated through the USVI BVI Vaccination Bubble Initiative. Please stay safe, of course, and remember, We will get through this together. Viewers, up next, Elinah Phillip sets new national record at the Olympics in the 50-meter freestyle event after finishing second in her heat. Missed out on the semifinals, but of course, we're still celebrating her. Team BVI. We have that and so much more after a word from our sponsors.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Viewers, welcome back. Olympian swimmer Elinah Phillip set a new national record in the women's 50-meter freestyle event at the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan as she finished second in her heat but missed out on advancing to the semi-final stage. While swimming in lane 1 of heat number 6, Phillip swam to a time of 25.74 seconds to finish second, breaking her previously set national record of 25.82 seconds, which was set in the 2021 Michael Loberg Invitational in June. Well, her race was won by Anika Delgado of Ecuador in a time of 25.36 seconds, but she also did not make it through to the semifinals. Well, according to the rules, the top 16 fastest times of the event qualified for the semifinals, which saw mostly participants from heats 9, 10, and 11 making it through to the semis with times under 25 seconds. Well, Australian Emma McKeown set a new Olympic record in heat number 10 of that event, finishing with a time of 24.02 seconds. Phillip's second place finish saw her improving her overall finish at the Olympic Games with a placement of 34th overall out of 81 swimmers who competed in the preliminary round. But this was an improvement from her performance at the Rio Olympic Games in 2016, where she had finished 48th in the prelims at the age of just 16 years old. While speaking following the race, Phillip said everything that led up to the race went according to her initial plan.
Today was a pretty typical day for me because Brian and I, my coach, have been planning and making sure that everything we do in the days leading up to this mimic what I'll be doing today. So not having anything change much from like yesterday or the day before took away from my like stress or anxiety that I could have been having. And sorry, I'm still a little out of breath. So yeah, I woke up, had breakfast, came to the pool, had an easy swim out, went back, rested. The only thing I did different was I had to shave my legs. That's just something swimmers do. I guarantee everybody here is shaved. Yeah, so a lot of people think it's because of like drag, but honestly there's like very minimal drag that you can get from not shaving your legs. But for me, it's more so the feeling of the water. When you shave, you remove like the very top layer of your skin. So your receptors are much more exposed, making the feeling of the water more intense, so that it's kind of easier to like just guide where you're going, I guess. Like it's like if you're trying to walk a route that you've already walked before with a blindfold, as opposed to like just having your eyes. So Yeah, so I shaved when I went back during my break. I took a nap, which I was surprised by. I didn't think I'd be able to sleep, but I managed. And then I came back to the pool.
Phillip also said she was proud of her performance and her accomplishments of breaking her existing national record, labeling her presence at the Olympic Games a miracle.
During the break in between, I did get very anxious, but I managed it and managed to hold everything together, stay positive, stay happy. And during that time, I just decided that no matter what happens today, I'm going to be just so proud of myself. I already am so proud of myself because I had a pretty hellish year leading up to this, and I know it's a miracle that I'm here, not just because of the pandemic, but because of so many other personal reasons. And I am just so proud of myself. That's not something that I say often, but I've thanked everybody in the lead up to this, and one person that I haven't thanked is myself, because I went through a lot, but I made it, and I'm just so happy right now. So yeah, today is like a very big day for me. Race day, the end of my summer program. Now I just have 2 weeks off, and I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet, but yeah, so it feels incredible. I feel incredible.
Well, you heard it here, viewers. A very emotional Elinah Phillip after a sensational performance. Meanwhile, Elinah's coach, Brian Moffat, commended her on the performance, stating that the two will be going back to the drawing board to help prepare her for upcoming events.
I am so very proud of Elinah's accomplishment today, to be able to be at her best and the biggest sporting stage that there is something that I think shows her resilience, her mental fortitude. And then when you look at the path and journey that she has taken to get to this point, it's very, very remarkable. In her race, there were a couple of things that I think we can do better, and Elinah and I have talked, and she definitely agrees. So we're both just looking forward to chipping away and to be even better. Definitely gonna be happy and grateful with our results here, but I think we're both eager to get back to work after a little bit of time away and rest and recovery. In a couple of short weeks, we'll be right back at it. Excited to tackle more obstacles and aim higher and dream more. Just so proud of Elinah and all she's done, and I know I can speak for our head coach Randy Horner and all of her team members in how proud we are of Elinah, and how much love we have for her.
Viewers, all eyes will now be focused on the BVI's Chantal Malone, who will be competing in the women's long jump event tomorrow, Saturday, July 31st at around 8:50 p.m. local time. Well, Javon, very emotional moment this morning, especially for the very talented Elinah Phillip. It was unfortunate that she did not make it to the semi-final, considering she came second in her heat. But she did do well for the BVI. The BVI is very proud.
And I absolutely agree with that. We are very, very proud of you, Miss Phillip. Now, viewers, as we begin to wrap up, on the 26th of July, history was made in St. Lucia as the Phillip Pierre-led St. Lucian Labour Party was able to claim a landslide victory. Now, just earlier today, we had the opportunity to catch up with political newcomer Jeremiah Norbert. His interview is definitely going to be aired right after this newscast. He went from policing to politics, and of course will be telling us how his government plans to pivot forward in the midst of this pandemic and beyond. So be sure to tune in for that. Very inspirational, big story this evening. That is all the time we have, but I want to thank you so much for rocking with us throughout the week, and I encourage you to have a safe Emancipation weekend. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes, and thank you for joining us, guys. Have a good weekend.